right. Thank you guys for joining me today. I apologize to everybody out there for the delay. Literally, the snow is so heavy out here. We've gotten feet in the last couple days, and this is a record-breaking snow for the year for where we're at. So, Colorado and Utah, you guys know what I'm talking about. This has been a record year for snow. Unfortunately, it's taking down literally telephone and internet lines, since that's where our internet, even our Ethernet and our DSL and our fiber and everything is connected at some point to the telephone poles out here, and it's literally taking telephone poles down. So I appreciate you guys' patience. We're getting stuff going here. They threw me off my game just a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and introduce Stu from TETRA here. This man is brilliant. I've gotten the opportunity to get to know him, not necessarily one-on-one, but through some of the specialized Telegram channels out there that I've been invited into. And these guys are doing some amazing, amazing things. When I watched the Randy Hilarski interview with Stu on TETRA, Randy likened it to Zapier, and we use that for a lot of our back-end systems for connecting APIs for our client dashboards and some of the marketing things that we're doing behind the scenes. And so I am loving that he is likening it's TETRA to Zapier on the blockchain. And I don't want to waste too much time giving my take on that, because I want to get right into this with the man, the myth, the legend, Stu himself. Stu, how are you doing today, buddy?
I'm good. I'm really good. Thanks very much.
Good, man. I am so glad you could join me.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. No, we're used to snow here in Scotland as well, so it's it's no problem.
Yeah, well, we're in Colorado, so we get snow every year. But this has been a snow we've been waiting for. We've been needing this. We've been in a drought for the last 10, 15 years. We get a decent snow every now and then, but this is one for the record books. I haven't seen snow in my area like this since I was a kid. So, and especially snow that stays on the ground longer than a week. And we've not had any problems here. In fact, I probably spent 2 hours this morning just trying to remove snow, and it's already been replaced by the new snow that's coming down. So yeah. I got my work cut out for me the rest of the day once we get done with this. But I'm going to give you as much time as you feel like you need to explain this, because I am loving what you guys are doing. Can you just give me your 30-second elevator pitch on what it is that TETRA does, Stu?
Okay, so TETRA is a tool that is effectively going to allow you to completely automate your DeFi. You're never going to need to give up your coins. You keep all your own keys for your own wallets. The protocol is fully immutable. It's a tool that allows you to execute automations and strategies on the blockchain, drag and drop, easy.
Sorry, bro. I literally missed like half of everything you said. I'm going in and out here again now. So, as Red Squirrel says, must be that damn global warming. Yeah. Well, right now, I would love some global warming. I wish that were the case where we're at, but that's not the case.
Yeah. Effectively,
am I cutting out?
No, I can hear you absolutely clearly, Kenny. But I don't know what it's like for the rest of the guys on stream. Maybe someone can give us a shout and let us know.
Yeah, if you guys in the comments would let me know how this video is coming through. I apologize to all of you. There's just so much I can do about this. Got the best connection I can offer right now at this point in time. Okay, good. I've got someone in one of the Telegram chats telling me that we can hear us both great. So that's good. And I'm seeing Finbear saying we're coming through. It's my connection with Stu, and I'm sure that's my connection to the StreamYard servers. So you're coming in and out every third word I'm hearing, and so I'm glad everyone else is. So disregard me for a minute. Tell us why it is that TETRA is going to revolutionize the way people interact with the blockchain and how they're able to manage their own profiles and their portfolios.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so the biggest thing that we see as the opportunity as to what TETRA can do. TETRA can do a multitude of different things in terms of being able to, automate things that you would manually need to carry out on the blockchain. So one of the things that that inspired the idea of what TETRA is was the need for people that want to carry out complicated strategies. So if you've got strategies that run across multiple different steps, you need to be sitting there in front of your computer, you need to wait for the market conditions to present themselves. You're going to need to be aware of many different things for the best optimal time for that part in a strategy to be executed or an automation. So what TETRA in essence does, and one of the things that it does, is it allows you to commit a strategy or a set of processes to the blockchain that effectively carry themselves out when the market conditions meet the precise settings or the precise elements of what you actually put into the system. So it's like so much more than that, but there's a big need for people looking to use a suite of tools that is going to allow you to automate the strategies. Otherwise, you're going to be tied to your computer. You're going to need to be watching the charts. It's going to feel like you're trading, running these strategies. So it's a decentralized method of being able to create automations. And like you akined it to earlier, and Randy had quite rightly pointed out the other day in the stream with him, is it's kind of like Zapier for the blockchain, right? It lets you drag and drop all these different pieces that interact with other smart contracts and other protocols in a nice, easy to use user interface that just, you got to get your life back. You're going to get so much time back just by automating a lot of this stuff and earning passive income, which is kind of what it's all about.
Yeah. What I like about the automating things is not spending hours and hours and hours of countless time and trying to wake up in the middle of the night to make sure that everything is set up the way it should be. So I am really excited that we all know that what we've been waiting for years and years and years with crypto is ways to earn passive income. Now it started with Hex, in my opinion, where you're able to get paid daily thanks to T shares. And we now there's yield included in these products coming out. I think it set the gold standard for that. And now there's multiple protocols out there that are designing, that aren't hourglass games, that are designing ways for people to make passive income. Mm-hmm. And now TETRA is going to be a platform, a tool to be able to use to even automate that, so that you're not having to move from this liquidity pool to this liquidity pool and back and forth. And Benjamin369 says PLSB is a perfect example of how TETRA can help. I think anyone who's been in the Hex Pulse communities long enough are familiar with Red Squirrel's passive income strategies. Shout out to Red Squirrel out there, my brother. Thank you so much for getting me into some of these Telegram groups and advocating on my behalf to learn some of these tools. But it's what is really revolutionary, in my opinion, is that some of these strategies are super complex, and you can literally set with TETRA, or will be able to set with TETRA, the flow of moving coins from one protocol to the next, to swapping and putting into another protocol. Those things are going to be able to be automated. Is that what you're telling me, Stu?
Exactly, yeah. If you look at the types of flowcharts that Red Squirrel or Neil for T-shares or Crypto Sloth does for icosahedron, some of these strategies are more complicated than others. And I've seen one that Red Squirrel did, and it's like, even I look at it and think, right, what is this? It's really complicated. So, but for people to understand it is one thing. For people to actually be able to take advantage of it and deploy it to the blockchain, if you were doing that manually, quite frankly, it would probably be impossible, right? Unless like you had 10 people helping you, right? So TETRA is going to be able to take almost visually, these flowcharts are going to look the same inside TETRA. You're just going to be able to drop a block, and then you can sort of connect it to the next block, and it's only going to go from block 1 to block 2 if certain conditions are met within those two assets, right? So that's kind of the trigger that moves assets from one protocol to the next. So yes is the answer. But I mean, it's not just limited to these complicated strategies. You can do simple stuff like what we call like a visual limit order. And I like to use this example because if you set up a limit order on Matcha XYZ right now, it kind of needs to fill on that protocol, right? And then, you may not be guaranteed to sort of fully fill that limit order. If you use TETRA to build a visual limit order, you can have it spread across multiple liquidity pools, across multiple dexes. You've got and it actually market buys it at that price rather than rather than filling an order just on that dex from the order book, right? So there's loads of different things. I mean, that's just a simple example. Take Hex, for example. You could have the automation of stakes being set and then unstakes being executed as well. You can roll up other transactions within that, like to mint your Hedron at the end of a stake, take your yield, and then you can redeploy it, or take your principal, redeploy it, take your yield, and maybe go and do something else with it. It's like your imagination is going to be the only limitation as to what you can use TETRA to do. So if you manually do something on the blockchain, then you're going to be able to automate it using TETRA, and that's a good thing. For a lot of different protocols, it's a great thing. But if you want to sort of earn passive income, and you want to jump in and out, various different protocols, and you just need to look at some of these flows and strategies that the guys out there are putting together, that's kind of going to be a really big part of what TETRA is.
I appreciate that, man. So I didn't catch all of that, but it sounds like to me that the chat is getting all of this, so this is great. So I'll have to go back and watch some of these answers. So, and I apologize, but it shouldn't take away from the fact that you guys are hearing this information now, because it seems like you guys are all getting this without any breaking up. One thing that Red Squirrel did say in the chat is that it'll help you manage staking, compounding farms, liquidity providing. The list is endless, he says. HOA asks, is it possible to set gas limits?
Yes, it is. So two parts to that. Let me just mention specifically what Red Squirrel's talking about. So liquidity providing in TETRA is going to allow you to set up liquidity strategies that you might be able to do on some other protocols that allow you to do that. Some of them are centralized, some of them are decentralized, some of them offer fixed strategies and how you can manage that liquidity. But take V2 liquidity. You could automatically manage V2 liquidity using TETRA by pushing and pulling sort of chunks of V2. It could be across a variety of different wallets, and then reapplying it or switching it up, selling some of one to get more of the other. You're basically slowing down in permanent loss, or stopping it completely. If you take V3 liquidity, for example, then you would be again in the same position that you would be able to push and pull liquidity at certain sort of times in the market, depending on what the parameters are that you want to employ for sort of managing your V3 liquidity strategies. So managing V3, V2, any kind of forms of liquidity in TETRA is going to be another core element of the system. By default, the way that the tool works would just allows you to do this, right? So it's kind of, again, just limitless end use case in terms of what you can actually do with it. And then to answer the question on the gas limit situation, so yes, you would be able to set a variable for a point in a strategy to be executed given certain conditions for gas. So if, for example, it was ending a hex stake, you could have it scan the network for a whole week, towards the end of your 2 week sort of period at the end of your end stake. And if you hit a gas limit within that week, then it would automatically just sort of execute, or you could then sort of change it up for the last week to make sure that you fulfill the end stake and just try and get the best sort of optimal gas levels. I know for you guys in the US, that's normally like very early on a Monday morning, kind of when you guys are sleeping. So you could program it to do that if you want, and the gas rate could be a variable for executing a stage and a strategy or an automation.
Okay. I appreciate that. I think I got most of that. And I like the answers you're giving here, because this is neat that you've built this functionality into it to be able to do these things. I got a question from your Refraction Telegram group right now from Irish. He says, is there any restrictions on how long you can have your desired strategy automated? Is your system immutable? And if so, how can you grow it with future advancements?
Yeah. So They're really good questions, actually. So, right, what was the first part of the question again? Because my mind was on the second part. Just repeat the first part again, Kinetics. You must have a bad connection. I'll open up Telegram myself. That's all right. It's okay. Let's have a look.
I apologize, man. I am having a hard time.
Yeah, it's okay. Are there any restrictions on how long you can have your desired strategy automated? No, there's not. You can have the strategy run for as long as you want. And ultimately, when you deploy that strategy to the blockchain, you are basically, saying these are the conditions that need to be met. So the time limit, the time factor might come in the form of having to wait for these market conditions to be met for that stage in a strategy to actually be executed. So the strategy itself can run perpetually, and if it loops itself from the starting point to the end point, and then it takes some of the yield and then re-loops the whole thing back, but then at the end you're maybe taking some yield and you're off-ramping it, or you're doing something else with it, then that strategy will just perpetually run. And as long as the market conditions are met, each of the different stages within the strategy will get executed. The system itself is completely immutable. All the smart contracts will be renounced to the blockchain, no admin keys. You'll never need to give your coins over to the protocol either. You will always be in charge of your own keys for your strategy wallet. The way that we can develop the system in the future is through an open software development kit that we're going to be making available for anybody that wants to build on top of TETRA. So once the core system exists, we can then take a modular approach to build on top of what we've already got. But because of the nature of decentralization and decentralized finance, that anybody that wants to build on top of what we've already got would be able to do that, and we're going to give them documentation. We're going to give them everything that they need to be able to help us grow TETRA in ways that we can't even imagine right now either. So once that initial core is in existence, then there's a lot of different things that could be built on top of that.
Okay. So you guys are going to have APIs built in where you can connect with different programs and different technologies that are going to be built after the fact?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's the whole point of what TETRA is that it is going to be a protocol that, is going to provide scalability to other protocols. It's also going to help them to build their own protocols out as well. So this is not just an exclusive tool that can be used by individuals to run strategies. Other protocols can effectively leverage the tools that we've built to build out things that can go on and sit on top of their protocols and add more value to those communities as well. So, we are open to, we're an open book to everybody, kind of protocol agnostic, if you like. You can come into any of our chats and you can talk about any other protocol in there. It's like you don't get kicked out for talking about, another protocol. We encourage it, right? That's what we're all about. So we kind of like to think ourselves and hope that one day we can be sort of compared to the likes of Uniswap, where it is a tool that you need to use on the network. And they don't care themselves what protocols come and set up liquidity, and people need to be able to swap. So it provides a service. That's what TETRA is it's a software service that's going to allow people to take advantage of the tools that we build. We can build other tools in the future, but other people can build on top of that too. And that's, I think that's going to really help us to, expand out and, like I say, things that we can't even imagine right now.
I like that. Thank you so much for the 50 cents American, $5 Canadian there, Fast Abdul. Will TETRA be better than Furu combo?
Yeah, so Furu combo is it's like a fixed system. So you can go in there and you can run strategies, but they're kind of pre-built strategies that only you can use because they've made them. How TETRA differs for that is that there's going to be an editor view where you can actually compile your own strategy. So you can drag and drop like blocks that represent other protocol smart contracts. Set the parameters for each of those blocks and then connect them up. So you have got complete flexibility and customization of being able to put together your own strategies. what Furu Combo does is that they create strategies and publish them to their system, and then you're basically entering into a pool with other people, or running a pre-made strategy that they've created. And there's very few protocols that they interact with as well. Our system, again, you can interact with any protocol on the blockchain, so it's limitless in terms of what you can build with it.
I like that. I like that. So Brizology has a question. He's having a hard time wrapping his head around this. So he says, tell me how I should use Tetra. What should I do with it? How can Tetra end my stake automatically with my hardware wallet in my drawer?
Yeah, good question. So what happens is that let's address the hardware wallet thing first, right? So when you effectively what happens first is you need to create what's called a strategy wallet, right? And when you create the strategy wallet, it deploys in effect a smart contract to the blockchain. Now you're the only person that has the keys to that smart contract. Now what you can do is you can use your hot wallet, you can use your MetaMask, you can use if it's connected to a hardware wallet. And what you're effectively doing is you're telling your own smart contract that only you hold the keys for, that you want it to go and perform a function on the blockchain at a given time. You sign the transaction with your hardware wallet. You go and put your hardware wallet back in your drawer, and your own strategy wallet has the permission to go and execute the transaction for you on your behalf. And that's effectively how it works. Now, there's certain security measures in there. So, there's whitelistings of the tokens that smart strategy wallet can interact with. There's a limit as to how many tokens can be spent on that transaction. But most importantly, it's you that owns the keys to that strategy wallet. It's like, nobody else can touch it. It's yours, and you only have the keys for it. So you have to generate that smart strategy wallet in the first instance to be able to create the automations. You sign the transactions up to a limit based on what the strategy or the automation is. And then when the time's right, it'll go ahead and it'll do what it needs to do, what you've told it to do.
Okay. I like that. I think that provides a little more clarity there. I do want to ask this question from Finbear here. I don't want to FUD here, but automation is, to my understanding, almost impossible to achieve on the blockchain, is it not? RH said so back in 2019 when asked about automatic restaking. I think we're talking about, I feel like in blockchain, 2019 was 5 generations ago. Can you dispel this fear for Finbear?
Yeah, I mean, what I've just explained there in terms of how the strategy wallet works is obviously pivotal to that. So there are obviously breakthroughs in terms of technology. There are things that new developments. There are things that we've developed that nobody else has ever developed before as well that allows for this to happen. Now, the key kind of part of what the strategy wallet actually needs is it needs a flow of information coming into it. And that's where we're going to have like decentralized Oracle services that we're going to be using on multiple different networks. It's going to feed information into the strategy wallets. It's going to feed it into the system. So it's kind of always listening. And when it's ready, when the market conditions are met, then that automation takes place. I don't know quite what he's talking about specifically there. I maybe need to see the RH video on that. That was kind of before I started following RH. But to be honest, I mean, I've got no concerns at all about what we're doing in terms of how we're going to be executing these automations. It's done in such a way to make it work on the blockchain, and we've tested that, and we've demonstrated that is absolutely possible. So once we get some public betas available, people will be able to go and try this themselves, and they can see for themselves that it works just perfectly.
Right on. So you talked about oracles. Are you trying to pick and choose what are going to be the most trusted oracles out there to provide this blockchain data to Tetra's monitoring dashboard, so to speak? And does that prevent the excess gas cost being able to do that?
So the Oracle services are going to be routed in such a way where there's going to be a lot in terms of block transactions. So that's going to help save a lot on gas fees. But in terms of the actual Oracle services that we plan to use, I mean, when it comes to Pulse Chain, the main one that we are going to be in discussions. In fact, I've actually, in discussions at the moment about finding out more and getting details as with liquid loans. I mean, they're bringing effectively a teller-like system to the Pulse chain. So that's going to be a critical service for us to use. Again, because of the modular sense of how TETRA is going to be developed, it would be possible to plug in other Oracle services in the future, and people can have options as to what services they want to actually use themselves. We could, if we wanted to, develop, I mean, I'm not saying we're going to do this, we might do it, we'll just need to wait and see, but we could provide a centralized Oracle service that's running on an Amazon Web Service that gives core minimum amounts of data that's required to run strategies, but it would always be up to the user whether or not they wanted to actually use that or not, right? So we want to be as decentralized as possible with as much as we possibly can. We're kind of pushing the boundaries of what you can actually do on the blockchain, especially when it comes to when we launch on Ethereum. It's going to be much easier on Pulse Chain because it's going to be faster, it's going to be cheaper, which again kind of gave realization to the idea and that we can do this because it's going to be faster, it's going to be cheaper. So I hope that helps to kind of answer that a bit.
Yeah, I didn't want to spend too much time on the coin at this point in time until we have something to look at. Are you guys, first off, just a simple yes or no? Are you getting audits on the
100%
on the code to make sure that the coins and everything is okay? Great.
Oh yeah,
that was my first question, and then I would like you to explain, because I think that I think I'd be doing TETRA a disservice by not talking about the coin in the way of how it's going to play a role in the dashboard. So can you explain to me how the coin and its derivatives, so to speak, because there's going to be multiple coins from what I see, and how that's going to play a role in how people interact with TETRA?
Yeah, I mean, what we've got happening at the minute is we've got a coin that launches on the 1st of March. It's an early opportunity for people to get involved, and they can burn it through the system to get R2. All this information on the website, so I'm not going to go too deep into the rabbit hole with this, but effectively you can get it now, you can burn it, and you can ultimately get TETRA. Now, the TETRA token is effectively your share in the protocol. We had an investment round. There was no venture capital. It was people, my inner circle on, in the community that we reached out to, friends, family, that kind of thing. So we raised the capital that we needed to effectively develop the system. And the token is effectively a representation of that commitment from them and realizing that that's their share in the protocol. So the fees that are generated from TETRA are delivered back to those that stake the TETRA token. However, it's really important to remember that the protocol itself is open for everybody to use. You don't need to hold any of our coins to be able to use the protocol. You would simply just pay a fee in the form of a stable coin, as well as your gas on your strategies. And those stable coins come back into a pool and are distributed to those that stake. So that's their share in the software service, if you like, for funding it and getting it to this point and being part of the early supporters, if you like. There's no need for anybody to buy these tokens to actually use the protocol. But if people wanted to be involved, and we've got a lot of people in our groups and in our community that are taking that opportunity, and that's great. And that's going to, that's their speculation on, we need to get a product out, we need to make it operational, and we need capital to get there. And there's a journey to get to TETRA. So there's opportunities for people to get involved. However, it's not necessary. And we're not saying that you need to buy these coins to use the system either, of course.
Come. I like that. So when are we going to have a working beta that people can go in and try to break it?
Yeah, so early summer we've slated early summer for an internal beta within community. We've got a strategy guild group. We've also got a community strategy group as well. So there'll be opportunities for people that want to step forward, that want to be part of that closed beta in the first instance. Obviously, we'll take the feedback there, and then we'll move to a public beta And that will run for however long it really needs to. But I'm expecting, maybe a couple of months. It might be a little bit longer. So certainly by the end of the summer, our goal is to have a version 1 live product out there that people can actually use, and that core functionality exists. And then, because the core can't really be changed after that, and we're building it in such a way where we can make it modular and build out other things that can plug into it in the future, that'll be then the focus after that, as well as providing documentation, education to the community on how they can take advantage of it and take it forward if they want to build on what we're doing too.
Right on. Right on. Well, where can we find more information, not only about TETRA, but talk with other people who are looking into this as well, other investors, other people who users that plan to use this protocol when it comes out? Where can we find all your links and places we can find you and talk about this?
Other side. So where is it? Here is it. There is the link right there. So tetra.win. Head over, take a look at the webpage. There's a ton of information there. We've got backlinks to all our social media groups. Telegram's kind of where it's all happening. It's kind of just a fluid discussion about things, people asking questions, people coming up with ideas, and can I do this with Tetra? So yeah, it's good. It was good discussion. We've got loads of people that have been involved in this, that are in there, that have been there right from the very beginning, that can answer questions, and I'm kind of in there all the time as well. Our Twitters are on the website, so yeah, come and join us. We've also got a community group that's been set up by the community. It was Red Squirrel and Neil and Crypto Sloth, I think, that set this group up. Certainly Red Squirrel was pivotal in there, and there's loads of people joining, coming up with ideas on strategies, and really getting involved in the discussions. So we're taking a lot out of the communication and the discussions that are happening, and we're helping that to forge more ideas for the future as well. So we're listening to the community as we're building it, but we're very clear on the goal as to what our core is going to look like. And tetra.win is the best starting point. And then come and join us in the Telegrams and the Twitters and stuff.
Well, hey, Stu, I really appreciate it. I'm going to literally have to go back and watch some of these answers. I know there's some people probably out there like, why isn't he responding to some of these questions? That's because every now and then I was only getting 1 out of every 3 words, but I wanted you guys to all hear it. And I wanted the questions in the chat. So I'd ask people in the chat to ask me these questions. And I think you did a pretty good job of filling in the questions that I were able to actually ask at this point in time. I'm really excited about the idea of being able to automate some of these systems, because there's some pretty complicated strategies out there, and Red Squirrel just keeps adding more and more strategies on top of strategies on top of strategies with all of the new Pulse Chain projects that are planning on coming out on Pulse Chain. And so it's going to be neat to have some way, because that's my biggest problem with crypto right now is I've got, real life businesses I'm running, and it takes a lot of my time. And I wish I could just sit on the computer and deal with crypto all day long, but I just don't have that time. And I need something like this. Irregardless of the coin and the profit sharing and stuff, there's just other things that just need to be manually taken care of right now. And so I'm really excited to see what you guys build here. I'm going to do a follow-up here in the future with you. You and I will talk behind the scenes, because I really want to talk more about this as we go forward. I appreciate everyone else for joining us here today as well. Thank you guys for putting up with my technical difficulties, but I just wanted to give Stu the microphone so he could explain some of these things. And there have been some questions, and I think most of the questions are answered really well in these Telegram groups. So make sure you guys jump in there if you guys are interested in automating your guys's strategies out there, or even looking at some of the broader strategies being created by Crypto Sloth and Red Squirrel out there. Shout out to both those guys. Stu, I appreciate your time today. Thank you so much, brother.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Yeah. I look forward to doing a follow-up, and we're probably about 5 or 6 weeks away from having our user interface sort of fully completed. And we would definitely be keen to come back and show you more of a hands-on demo of how this is all going to work, and maybe some more technicals behind the scenes as well. So yeah, absolutely. I look forward to that.
Well, yeah, man, we'll definitely have you back on. That won't be an issue. I want to play with it. Maybe I'll have internet by that time and I'll be able to actually play with it myself. So I
Indeed,
really
indeed.
appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for coming on today. And you guys, tetra.win. Check out the Telegram. Brizology says, quick question. I'll give him about 5 seconds to go ahead and put it in the chat here. Will non-devs be able to build on Tetra?
That's the whole point. Yes, it's a zero code platform, so it's drag and drop. And we're going to provide all the learning material that people need to be able to build these strategies and take advantage of the tools that we're building. Education is going to be really key, but you're never going to need to write a single line of code. And that's what's going to be really cool about it.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Well, cheers, guys. Thank you guys so much for today. Stu, let's keep in touch. I want to talk with you more. I see you in the Telegram chats all the time. But if you have anything else that you want to drop me, by all means, brother, just reach out to me anytime. My DMs are open to you. And I appreciate the rest of you guys for joining us today. And you guys need to think about the future of DeFi, what that means, and how you're going to be able to manage these things that currently now need a lot of attention that you might be able to automate in the future. I think this is going to help a lot of people. So, and I don't think it's just the Richard Hart ecosystem, the Pulse chain, and the Hex communities that are going to be taking advantage of this. I think this is going to gain a lot of traction in a lot of different communities throughout crypto. So I appreciate you, brother. We'll talk soon.
Thank you. All right. Cheers, guys. Thank you.
See you guys.